Feel the weed kicking in a little bit.
Great first line.
Did you already hit record? Oh, welcome to Mystic Madness Tarot. Today we're going to be doing a reading on the Epstein files. And I'm smiling now because this flame is kind of getting crazy here. You, universe, spirits, and guides for providing insight. All right. So we've been wanting to do this reading for a while now. I've just been curious ever since the files came out and then were like all redacted. To me, that was like, what the heck? Like, what was even the point of showing us that if all you're gonna do is just have freaking permanent like black lines covering up all of the entire freaking folder, the freaking booklet? And I'm just like, what is this? What is going on? Why are we hiding information? Why can't you just come out with it and tell us what's going on? Because I feel like the public wants to know. The public is like, why is there so much secrecy around this Epstein case? And I think we all have a hunch, and it's that it's tied to many other things. It's not just about this one person. It's tied to a lot of people. We saw some names like Bill Clinton was in the flight log. Prince Andrew was named, right? Virginia Giuffre just passed away, unfortunately. May her soul rest in peace. But I feel like there's more stuff that is coming out, right? Because that was the first phase of them showing the redacted files, and now there's going to be even more coming out, I feel. And Virginia Giuffre's death is kind of like sparking interest again, right? So I want to see, why were the files redacted, and what can we expect from the FBI moving forward about this case? Okay, so let's get into it. I do want to premise this reading by saying that, we should acknowledge that just because people's names like Bill Clinton and Trump were on the logs, on the flight logs or whatever, doesn't necessarily imply wrongdoing, okay? So we do have to take that into consideration. But you know dang well that anybody that was involved with Epstein probably did some shady stuff. I did do a pre-read before we started recording, and from what I gathered, there's something about the FBI obviously wanting to wrap all of this up in a pretty little bow for the public, right? They want to soften the blow for the public. But also, I'm getting the connection out of like a lot of important people who are connected, like Bill Clinton and all of that, possibly Trump, who are connected to these files, who are named on these files. I can't tell you like who exactly, but I feel like there are a lot of big players involved.
A list.
Oh, you have the list?
Well, just some notable people.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we got Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey, okay.
Chris Tucker.
Ooh.
I didn't know that one.
I didn't know Chris Tucker was involved, y'all.
We knew, what's his name, called him out.
Michael Jackson?
No. Well,
oh.
He associated him with Michael Jackson. What's his name? The comedian.
Cat Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naomi Campbell.
Okay, I knew she was involved.
Stephen Hawking.
Mm-hmm.
Woody Allen.
Wow.
Also not a good look.
Stephen Hawking.
Prince Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Oud Barak. He's the former Prime Minister of Israel.
Oh, okay.
George Mitchell. That's a former U.S. Senator.
Mm-hmm.
Scientists, we got Lawrence Krauss, theoretical physicist. Marvin Minsky, MIT professor and AI pioneer.
Okay.
And he was actually accused by Giuffre.
Okay. Giuffre?
Giuffre. Bill Gates.
That one doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and then we just got a list of like notable names would be like Alan Dershowitz, which was a famed lawyer, Les Wexner, billionaire, former CEO of Bell Brands, Victoria's Secret, and then Ghislaine Maxwell, which you know her pretty well.
Yeah.
The alleged accomplice and
Which,
convicted for trafficking.
yeah, which in the pre-read that I did, I do believe that there's going to be more information coming out about her. I feel like they're uncovering more of how she was involved and what exactly she was doing, because I don't think that she was just recruiting young girls to be a part of all of this. I think that she was a lot more involved.
It would be amiss if I didn't include that, yes, Donald Trump's name did appear in Epstein's flight logs. According to the records that were released, he flew on Epstein's private jet multiple times between 1993 and 1997. These flights were primarily between Palm Beach, Florida, and Teterboro, New Jersey. And sometimes he was with family members, including his wife at the time, and his daughter, Tiffany, and his son, Eric.
Interesting.
So, I don't think there was anything in the logs about going to the island. Since we keep bringing up Virginia, she has gone on record saying Donald Trump didn't partake in any of this. I never saw him at any of the orgies, and I never saw him at the island.
Interesting. And then she died like randomly, like allegedly through suicide, right? Like that's what her family even said. I don't know, like with her death, I feel like there's definitely shady stuff happening. I feel like she was probably coerced into committing that act. I feel like her husband was probably involved, and I just get this weird feeling of like, if you don't take these drugs, we're gonna take care of you ourselves. Like it's giving me that kind of like hitman vibes. Remember that this video is completely for entertainment purposes only. Anything I say should not be taken as fact or advice, professional advice. I'm simply speculating, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I hope that what we can uncover is the truth and nothing but the truth. But even with that, we know how tarot works, we know how spirituality works. So, let that be, entertainment purposes only.
Completely.
All right, let's get into this reading. Spirit, help us understand why the files were redacted and what we can expect moving forward. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Deviant Moon Tarot. We're going to try to unpack why these files were redacted. What are they hiding from us? What are they hiding from the public? Okay. We know that the FBI wants to cushion the information for the public, or censor the information, I should say, for the public. But I want to know why. I want to know what's going on. And I can already feel that there is a huge network of people like Coca-Cola. It's coming up because I see it on that painting over there. But Coca-Cola, I see like Virgin Mobile, I'm seeing just like big names involved. Elon Musk, maybe. Page of Swords came up, okay? So this is about sleuthing, this is about perception, the internet, right? Let's see, hang on. Investigation, so they're looking into the situation further. So basically, the way that it's coming across for me is they redacted it because there's so many like important figures listed on that, like all in that, and there's a lot of information to sort through. And what they're trying to do is be more discerning and also uncover more truths. Okay, so I feel like they've already uncovered so much information that would just blow a lot of people's minds, We have the Six of Pentacles. Okay. So I do see that they are willing to offer information to the public. Okay, but if you look at this image, you see how he has 5 of the Pentacles behind him while he's only offering 1 to this person? That's how it's gonna go down. The FBI is gonna hold on to so much more than they're gonna let on. Classic FBI move. Thanks a lot, FBI. Let's see. What else? Why are they holding back? Why are they holding back? We got the Fool card. Look at this. They want to keep people ignorant. This is what I'm feeling. You see how silly and slap happy this character in this card looks? It's like they want to keep people ignorant, okay? Why is that? Because, well, guess what? Ignorant people help the world run. Ignorant people actually, it's like how they say like sheep, it's like controlling the masses. Okay, we have Ace of Wands here. It's a new beginning of some sort, but it's like they're going to be offering up the information. Inspiration here. What is this Ace of Wands saying, Spirit? Okay, how can I explain this? How can I explain what I'm getting here? And it's clarified by the Knight of Wands. You see, this is kind of like Knight of Wands is very like in and out energy, which is like why there's a freaking flea here, because fleas they jump in, like they're able to go boop 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 like that. Here's what I'm picking up on so far with this Ace of Wands. I believe that they are trying to be more discerning about how they release the information, but they also want to try to spin it to get people to think a certain way, to behave a certain way, to evolve a certain way, okay? That's what I'm picking up on. That's why I'm seeing the baby there. Because it's like, you know how children, especially babies, are very impressionable, right? The FBI understands this about the public, okay? At least the majority of the public. And they're going to want to try to release this information to get them to act a certain way, behave a certain way in their favor. Yeah, okay. Because we got the Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck here. There's a lot of implications that are hidden from us, okay? Jeez Louise. Does that make sense so far to you?
Yeah. I mean, what are they aiming for? What is the...
I feel like they want the public to keep doing what they're doing. I feel like they want the public to keep working hard, building that kind of stuff, and nurturing and all this kind of stuff that we are already doing. It's like they want people to just keep going on with their normal lives. But I think that a lot of people are just gonna be like angry about it.
So that's the main spin.
It's to keep people doing what they're doing. Yeah, it's just to keep the momentum, in the right trajectory,
So they're not trying to use the public spin to enact.
I
It's
am
more of just keep on keeping.
Yeah, it's more of that, but Kash Patel, he has something to do with it. I mean, he's gonna do something with it. Like, I think it's gonna be for the benefit of the public. Yeah. But I don't know that they're gonna try to manipulate the public into doing something for them. They might look at it as an option, because I'm seeing it as an option on the table. I just don't know that they're actually gonna do that, because what the public doesn't realize is that we actually have more power than the government, the FBI. We actually have more power. I think that keeping us powerless is to their benefit.
That's good though. Just know that they're not.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't feel like they want to stir things up too much. It feels like they want to keep things level. They want to keep things controllable or tame. All right, Spirit. what can we expect moving forward? Are we gonna see more implications come out? Are we gonna get more information about the Epstein files? Who's involved? What's gonna happen? What can we expect? Okay. Thank you. Look at this. This is kind of crazy. This is the messenger. And yes, it's like this, the spirit is saying they're going to move into phase 2 of letting people know names on the list. I do feel that there are certain names that they're not gonna share. I do feel that. I feel like there are like at least 5 or 6, I don't know, like a handful of people that are big enough or important enough that they're like, we can't let the public know about that person. However, we're gonna keep this person on file. You know, like that's kind of what I'm getting. Look at this. The 9 of Swords, beware, look. Ooh. Do not, it's kind of like if certain people, I'm getting like a George Soros kind of vibe from this card. Like it's kind of like a puppet master that has a lot of influence, but it's kind of like warning whoever's involved with like releasing the files or whatever, is kind of like warning them, like, or maybe they know, maybe like the FBI knows, like we shouldn't put this person on blast. You know what I mean? Like it's giving me that vibe of like, we need to be careful about this person and bringing them to light. I'm really sorry about my voice. I've been recovering. My throat has been giving me a lot of grief lately. So I do apologize, and I hope that my voice is tolerable. But anyways, that's what I'm getting, you guys, so far. They're going to release more information, but again, it's like it's going to be censored down. We have justice, okay? So the people are going to feel like it's justified. Okay, so people aren't even going to think twice about the information that is released. That's what I'm picking up on. Like, the information is going to be released and people are going to be like, yep, I knew it. That's how people are going to react. When in reality, there's hidden information even beyond what they share. Wow. This is coming through strong, Spirit. We have the Empress. Okay. This is giving me like the FBI's energy of like ruling with the diplomacy, ruling their subjects with diplomacy, like trying to be fair, right? So I do feel like the FBI, especially being led by Kash Patel, I feel like they're going to try to be as fair as possible to the public without incriminating really big names, really big players in the game. They're gonna give the people what they want, but not completely what they want. It's kind of like this is an example that's coming to my head, like when a child asks their parents like a question about something that, you know, goes beyond their heads. It's kind of like when I was younger, how my parents would, I used to do this thing where I would just go around whistling in the house at night. Like I would just whistling because I love music and stuff. And my dad would tell me like, don't do that, because we were living in an apartment. So there were like other people above us and whatnot. And my dad would be like, don't do that. You shouldn't do that. And I'd be like, why? And he'd be like, because the ghosts are going to come get you. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, you know, like, all right, I guess I won't whistle. But that's the kind of thing that he would say. The ghosts are going to get you because they can hear you whisper, you know? And like being a kid, obviously I'm like frightened, and so I'm just like, okay, I won't whistle then. But as I grew up, I realized, oh, he was just telling me that just to keep me quiet. You know, he didn't want to disturb the neighbors. Which he could have said that, and I would have been fine with that. But instead, he chose the route of, let's scare the living shit out of this child.
Your family seems to go to goats.
Yeah.
That one.
Okay, so we got the Emperor in reverse. Ooh, what is this? I'm hearing something about losing control. This could be Epstein, but when I picked it up, I felt Trump's energy come through. Oh, his name was implicated. I wonder if perhaps, just perhaps, there's a connection there with the FBI and Trump. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to say too much, okay? You guys, I'm a human being too. I gotta keep myself safe. I gotta keep my family safe. I can't be I can't be spewing crucial, vital information like it's candy. We got the Six of Wands. Victory, success. So, what this is telling me is, again, it's gonna feel justified in the public eye. Like the public are gonna, whoever gets implicated, whatever information comes out, it's gonna feel like the public is going to be satisfied with whatever information is going to come out. Okay? They're going to see it as a win.
Satisfied that is.
What else, Spirit? What else can you tell us about the Epstein files? What can we expect? King of Cups. There is somebody that I'm getting this feeling that it's okay. So, like, it's kind of a bit all over the place right now with this King of Cups. But what I'm feeling is there's two things that is coming through. One is that somebody who was implicated is going to get justice. Like they're going to get a pass. How do you say, like, what, like it's like they're gonna be implicated, but they're gonna get a pass. Like they're gonna get.
It wouldn't be exonerated because that's more public. It sounds like you're saying they're not even gonna, like, they're just gonna let them go under the radar.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like their name, like I feel like maybe a couple people or a few people, but that are gonna come out like as implicated, like they're gonna get a slap on the wrist.
Just because it's not enough to even. They were just associated.
Yeah.
Because that was his job, was just to get associated with people as he could.
Yeah.
So you can get them down the pipeline. So not everybody actually was hedonistic.
And then the other thing I was picking up on is that there is going to be a figure, and I'm sensing one person that people are going to be really shocked about. Like, this is somebody who in the public eye has like positive charisma, positive energy, like somebody that is, seems very joyous and fun to be around, and people just love this person. I think that there's going to be one person that's going to really stand out in the crowd. That's going to be like, oh, no, not so-and-so,
Like another Bill Cosby.
Let's see, what else, Spirit? Okay, so we got the Queen of Wands in reverse. So Ghislaine Maxwell's energy is coming through there. And for me, it's like I was saying before, there's going to be more implications coming out against her. More evidence. Excuse me. I got honey in this tea. I got honey peppermint tea. And it's helping my throat. But I feel like, so I don't know, like, what has been brought up against her? Because do people just so far know that she was the one recruiting young women, and she had this list of like masseuses or something like that, right? And she was the one that kept track of all the lists. It's weird because even though like that's public information now, I feel like there's more that this woman did, you guys. I feel like there's some really dark shit that this woman did that she was a part of.
Oh, okay. So she was instrumental in the recruiting and grooming of underage girls. She used her social status and connections to identify. Oh, it just errored out on me while I was reading it.
Oh, weird.
Let's try again. She would identify and build relationships with vulnerable teenagers under the guise of being a mentorship or even as an employment opportunity. She was also a manager of his properties, and she maintained strict household rules to ensure secrecy and control over the victims. She was just kind of like the one really orchestrating it all for him.
I'm hearing the word murder. I'm hearing the word murderer. Like, I feel like she was also probably the one deciding, like, how to get rid of certain people that weren't of any use anymore. Like, let's say if there was a young girl involved and she didn't want to participate, and she was brave enough to stand up for herself. Like, I feel like Ghislaine Maxwell would have made some moves to get rid of her. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it shows you like the level of how sick some people can be. You know, like how effed up in the head you would have to be to commit these kinds of, atrocities. But I feel like she was deeply involved in that way, like maybe even like ritualistic stuff too, like because I'm seeing the hooded figure in my head, like very like eyes wide shut kind of energy, and I'm telling you, like I feel like it even goes beyond that. Like the murdering is like the surface of it. That's what I feel. Like I feel like there was even like sicker stuff happening. But I will detach from that energy and leave it there with respect. Okay. Look, bottom of the deck. We got the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is very receptive. She's very open. Oh, okay. So this Queen of Cups card is giving me yin energy, like holding in, withholding energy. Again, I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Like, I feel like with Ghislaine Maxwell, she's going to definitely get what's coming to her, but I feel like the FBI is only going to release like a tiny bit of information about what she actually did, because I think they're going to find out a lot more than what she actually did. They're only going to tell the public that she only did these certain, like a few things versus several, or
just so people don't go down a rabbit hole they don't want people going down.
And I feel like perhaps my throat chakra is being like closed right now because, you know, they know I want to talk about it, but at the same time, it's like I'm being restricted, because I think that the public has a good suspicion about what really goes on, underground, what really goes on beneath the current of society. Like, there are a lot of rich people who are involved in a lot of shady activity. But it's not just shady, it's like dark. And I guess from a spiritual perspective, from what I understand, it makes sense for me, because if you think about how the life of somebody who works really hard to make a lot of money, to become rich and successful and all that kind of stuff, who then is able to buy whatever they want and get whatever they want, that drive for desire is only going to increase as you have more money and get more of what you want. Like we see that with the P. Diddy case. We see that with Jeffrey Epstein. We see that with Trump even. Like Trump, I think he wanted to be president for the longest time now, but he's also involved in that world of like rich elites, right? That are really just thrill seeking, you know? Like that's the sick part about it, is it's like people like Jeffrey Epstein, and I will say Prince Andrew too, are just thrill seeking when it comes to this. You can't tell me that Prince Andrew is not guilty. Like he is guilty. Like I just know.
Prince Andrew, yes. Epstein, did you say him as well? I don't know how much of that was thrill seeking and how much of it was he himself was groomed for that position. I think it's both. I think he was groomed, but he also had a certain level of like power that he wanted to maintain and grow. Like he wanted to continue becoming more powerful and influential, and he's just a complete narcissist. That's what he is. Just messed up in the head. And me and Matt were talking about this before, but like the whole issue with like, I don't want to say the word because I don't want to get flagged on YouTube, but the whole issue with like engaging with younger women, younger girls, right? Like, or younger boys. That whole issue is I believe is a psychological issue, because it shows that somebody that is attracted to somebody that is a lot younger than them, they haven't matured psychologically in their mind in the sense of like romantic or sexual encounters. Like they haven't matured, right? So when we see all these people like Jeffrey Epstein, that it's very telling for me of why he preyed on young women, because in his mind he was still a teenager, you know, even though he was this, how old was he, like 50s something? Epstein?
Yeah. Even though he was like this older gentleman, I'm not going to call him a gentleman, this older man, in his mind he was still a teenager sexually. That's just how I see it. Let me know what you think about that.
66.
66. Yeah. So, from what I'm picking up, there's more information coming out. People are going to be satisfied with the information, but there's still a lot that the FBI knows that they're not going to share. Okay? That's what I feel. Alright, let's go ahead and close out this reading. We're going to close out this reading with a dice roll for you, the viewer. We're going to use our new astrology dice set. I don't know if you can see it from here, but there's words mixed with astrology symbols, and this is something that Matt and I just created for our latest Kickstarter. We're gonna start including this in our Etsy shop, so keep a look if you guys are interested. We also have this version here. This is like the Visions of the Arcane, and this one's based around the Wizard of Oz. The wizard, you know when Dorothy runs away from home and she meets Professor Marvel or something like that. This is what inspired it, and let's see this here, but the dice are green and it's the same thing. There's words and there's symbolism involved. So yeah, feel free to check that out. Alright, so I'm going to do a dice roll for you, the viewer. I want to say thank you so much for joining us at this time. I appreciate you sharing your time and energy with us. I'm going to do a dice roll for you. Hopefully this will give you a message that is for your benefit, okay? Alright, Spirit, what message do we have for the audience today, Spirit? Okay, let's see here. So take this message as it resonates, alright? I feel like you're at a threshold in your life, and I see it here with the Sagittarius energy. I see that you are pushing forward in your exploration of mind. So this would be like philosophy, right? You're pushing forward with that, and you're also finding or understanding more of who you are at the core with this Aquarius. It's because Aquarius is all about self love and shining your light like unapologetically, right? So there's a threshold here. So I feel like there's some kind of like transformation happening because we got transform in the middle. Okay, so your psyche could be elevating at this time. We have clarity, ruler, and eclipse. So that eclipse for me is more confirmation of a turning point for you. We have ruler next to clarity as well, which tells me that you are stepping into your power and you are moving forward with more clarity and more truth. So this is giving me real light worker energy, like holding, what did I say? Why is that quote? Carry a big, what is it? Speak softly and carry a big stick, right? That's the quote that's coming into my head. It's like giving me that sovereign energy, which is beautiful. We have joy here on the line. I feel like you're at a point in your life where you do feel that sense of joy, but it's still being challenged, right? Like you do feel that joy, but I feel like it gets challenged, like with this whole transformation. We have Leo here confirming more of like needing to step out into the public eye or showing people who you really are, showing your authentic self. And then we have Libra here, which is also coinciding with the ruler energy, and there's like that feeling of like balance and fairness. So to me, I get this feeling of like the Empress. Okay, that's the card that's coming into my mind. It is the Empress ruling with sovereignty and feeling very strong in your beliefs and moving forward with that sense of dignity and pride that sometimes we have trouble seeing in ourselves, right? That's what I feel for you. I hope that resonated with you. So if it did, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video that we post. Keep a lookout for our next Kickstarter project called Voyage the 7 Seas to Neverland. This one is a project that we've been working on for over a year now, and we're getting closer to launching that. So I hope that you guys will tune into that. It's going to be a very fun concept of like crossing Peter Pan and Sinbad. The tales of Sinbad, like
Mystic Seven Seas.
the mystic 7 seas. It's exciting because I feel like this is our opportunity to explore more of Neverland, which is something that I don't think very many people have done. And so it's gonna be a really cool deck. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. Go over to Kickstarter and give us a follow. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this, and thank you so much. I will see you later. Bye.